Good morning and welcome back to Home Renovation Expert Steve here on a brand new build. That's right, you heard me right. So we're going to do this whole coverage, the whole thing again, from planning to the base to just the rods and everything going on. So there is something missing from this garden. It's a garden room, should be sat right there. I don't know where it's gone, but we're going to start again. So this is going to be a 5x3 standard rectangular. So it's going to be finished with anthracite grey down the back and the sides. Going to have Western red cedar on the front, French doors, 2 floor to ceiling windows, left and right hand side, white fascias and soffits. And that is it. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. It's going to go in this garden an absolute treat. So when you kind of get round to sort of doing your bits and pieces and get it ready, I'm going to show you how to sort of plan it out and stuff, and how to get the rod system set up ready, which will require a couple of like ground pegs, string, and some spray paint, which is always fun to use, so you can mark spots on the floor. Yeah, but right, I need to offload all the van first and get all my stuff in, get me a gazebo set up, get me a little home for the next few weeks, and then that's it. I can start cracking on. Righty dokie, so you can now see my home is now set up, ready to rock and roll. Thank you very much. If I want to keep fit, I can do a bit of bouncing over here. It's all good. Size of these mugs, again, brilliant. And I like very much. Right, anyway, back onto it. So there you can see, right, string line, pegs, ground pegs, bing, bing, bing. So all I've done at the second is I've just like marked it out on the ground, the actual size of it, just so the client can see it, make sure they're happy with the position of it, you know, where the actual building's going to lie. So we're happy with this. So what I should do now is we're taking our sort of the positioning of the building off of the back fence. So at the minute, that string line, when it's like tight, I've just been playing with it, is 600 mil from that fence line there, and the same from that one. So what I'll do is I shall grab these bad boys, put 2 further than where I've marked the building, one there, one at the other side, 600 mil away from the fence. I'll ping that string line from there, and then once that one's in, I can then go ahead and ping another string from here forward, exceeding 3 meters, so I might bring it out to say, you know, 3.5 meters or something. I'll then get my tri-square, put that in the back corner, so I know that this line isn't running straight. I'll then go from this one to that one, and that one to the back. And then what I'll still do is I'll take my big tri-square, it's a big meter one, I'll show you in a minute, and I will double check all of them to make sure, because this is the bit you want to take your time on. There's loads of bits you want to take your time on, but specifically this one, because once this is in and it's all pegged up and you've got your holes marked ready, you're fixed then, that is it. So take your time, there's no pressure, all the time in the world, make sure you're happy with it, get it right, and then that's it. You can crack on from there. So I am now going to go get that back wall pegged in and then take it from there. Okay, so what I've done is, you can see here, one ground peg there, the other over there. So this is obviously bigger than the building, so this is going to be 5 meters. This is much longer than that. Measured 600 off the fence to the string line. I now know that that is absolutely beautiful. Once you've got your first starting line, that's your working off point, okay? So what I've then got to do is measured 5 meters. So I've decided this is where I'm going to start from here. So there's a peg in the ground at this point, and then 5 meters is in over here at this point. So you can now see when I run my string line off of here this way, the string line runs over there. So it just gives you a nice bit of space to work. Lovely jubbly. So what I'll now do is, you can see I've got my big tri-square, which is very handy. I will chuck in, hang on a second, let me get rid of this. I don't need this no more. I will put brick underneath there. Once I put this line in here, brick underneath there, brick in a corner, and then what this will do is go on here like that, and then when I look down it, actually that's not barely level straight away, that's just how the professionals do it. There you go, look, see that's in line perfectly there. So when I slide it across to marry up with a string line, once it comes across here level, I know that back edge is perfectly square. So when I get my string line attached to that, I'll then attach it to this one, and I'll just maneuver it left and forward, left and right, until it becomes level with my tri-square. I'll then rinse and repeat for every corner. Done. That is your base marked out, ready to rock and roll. And then it'll be marking out for the actual rods and digging some holes. They call me mole man for the beginning of these jobs for nothing, you know. That's right. Right, so here's a little setup for you. So there's a tri-square, all set up. See, it's all raised up because it's always a lot bloody easier if it meets the line. So basically the line is this high at the second because the ground, I don't want it to be snagged. So you've got to make sure that your line isn't impacted by anything else. It's not hitting bricks or soil or anything, kind of messing up your line. So raise it up. Now if I bring you this way, look, you can see that is absolutely beautiful all the way through. Come down there, you can now see this line runs beautifully off to this one. So that is that set. So that is the first angle done. And now I'll do the same, going from front to the back. Sorry, the full front of the building now will be my next one. Square it off of here. Boom, done. Righto, she's officially squared up. So I don't know if you can see because the sun's quite bright today. But there you go. So where the string crosses, that is the corner of the building. So not only have I now done the triangle to make sure the sides are square all the way through, what I've also done then is two extra things I do. One is I will grab another peg, I'll place it right tight in the corner where it meets the string, opposite, boom. Then I'll diagonally do the same on the other corner over there. Then I'll measure that distance between that peg and that peg, just gives you something to like hook your tape onto, because trying to measure it here is difficult because it pulls the string and stuff. But you plug that into the ground, gives you something to like hook your tape measure onto, measure that straight from there diagonally. Do the same then from that end to this end, and you should have a very similar measurement. Now don't poo yourself if it's not absolutely 100% square, because when you're dealing with this kind of size, there's always tolerances and stuff like that. So don't forget, so it's 20 mil out. It's not the end of the world. It might make a piss all bit of difference to your build. But then the other thing I do is, I know it's going to be 3 meters, so I then measure from the tape, string line that way to this one, 3 meters from that one to that one, and as long as they're the same, we know we're golden. And the same for that line angle going from there to there, 5 meters, and the same from the front and back. So that way I now know that I've tri-squared it. I then put the corner pegs in and measure diagonally, and then by measuring this distance out to square distance, you're going to be as square as you can possibly be. And this one literally is that. So when I initially done the diagonals, it was actually 20 mil out. It wasn't until I measured the 3 meter to 3 meter, and then this one 3 meter to 3 meter. This one was actually like just 2 centimeters out. So by adjusting that, I then know it's corrected the difference. So this one is 100% square, which is lovely. So what I'll do now is I'll go and get my spray paint and show you how to mark out ready for digging your rods. Right, spacing, not just the final frontier. Let me grab this. Right. So, when it comes to putting the actual rods in, what you basically want to do is take a measurement, 200 mil of a string line to this side, 200 mil from that side to here. So what they'll do is, because obviously you don't want a rod right in the very corner because you'll never get to fix it. It'd be really tight to try and do it. So you put it 200 mil this way. That way you get, like in this case, 5 rods here, and 200 mil from that would give me like a good strong support in each corner, as opposed to 1 rod holding each corner. I now have 2. So once you've kind of got your 200 in, take that section and then divide by half. Boom. There's a little mark there. Divide that section. Done. Or the other way of doing it is just divide it by whatever, however you want to do it, completely up to you. So what I've done is, I've put some little nuts down here just to know where I'm going to be putting them. But basically that is it. As long as the first marks are 200 off either side, and you've done your dividing for however many rods you're going to need, then you're good to go. Then just a bit of spray paint. So I'll get this out of the way now. Spray that there. 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 And last one. And that way, The reason I do that is because I now know when I pull the string back to dig my hole, I know exactly where my line is. And the other thing, before I start digging, once this is set, I'll get this, for example, or anything, and just put a mark in the soil across that way, across my mark. So that way, again, when I pull this back, I know exactly where the centre is. So when I'm digging my holes and then the string pops back, I know it's going to be straight through the centre of each hole, because that's what you want. You want to make sure your holes are perfectly aligned to the centre of that string. So that's how you do it. So basically I run round, do the same again, measure me 200 off each corner, mark them down, then divide. So there'll be 3 rods on there, 3 rods in the back, 5 on the front, 5 on the back, and I'll stick 3 down the centre. More than enough. So that's it. Time to do a bit more spraying, get slightly high, this stuff does stink, I'm glad I'm outside. And in case you're interested, this is from Screwfix, so no nonsense. Don't know how much it was, this has lasted me for like 2 or 3 builds now, so it lasts, so at least do you for a little DIY job. That's it, we're going to crack on. And also, for the more observant of you, I had forgot to put my centre line. Happens to the best of us. But either way, actually it's quite handy not having a centre line. You're not tripping over the bloody thing constantly when you sort of get the perimeter done. So I'll just quickly whip that in. It's a piece of piss. You know what the width is, 1.3 metres, so divided by 2. That gets pegged there. 1.5 off that string line there. Boom. Double check it from both ends, just to make sure it's as square to the centre as possible, which it should be a 1.5, and I know this one is now. So that's in. So what I'll do is, again, I mark with 200 spray, and then put it so there's like 3 pegs in the middle. Done. Happy days. Right, digging a hole. What do you need? Firstly, you need something like this. So what I've done is, where the line was perfectly just left as it was, I've now pinned it back. But before I did that, I did what I said earlier. I've just put a score through the centre of where that line was sat. So I now know that when I dig, I'm going to be digging right through the centre of that hole. So, starting to keep the string line out of the way. Can't recommend this enough. Post digger, saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. And grafter shovel and a wheelbarrow. Because once you start getting the soil out, you don't want to just leave it to one side, because once you've got soil everywhere, you're walking in the crap and it just gets everywhere. So as you kind of bring it out, put it straight into the wheelbarrow, and in this case the client wants me just to distribute it across all the borders, so you've got all that lovely peachy soil going somewhere useful, as opposed to either the skip or just to the side somewhere, or you walking into it. I mean, obviously if you need to get rid of it, yeah, just stick it in a skip and done, they'll take it away, no bother at all. But what you're aiming for with holes is you want to kind of get down to the bit where you start to get to clay. Clay is fantastic for building, there's a lot of strength and a lot of support in it. So I've dug one hole, which I'll show you in a second, but I'll dig a hole for you because I know everyone likes to see digging holes. So you want to kind of aim for around 200 mil thick all the way through, and anywhere minimum from 500 mil to whatever depth you need to go. Now, all soil is slightly different. This stuff is quite peaty, quite easy to dig, which is really nice. But some is tough as old boots and stuff, so sometimes you have to persevere a bit more than other areas, but just get digging and see where you end up. But I say, got my spray, got my cut mark in it, so I know that first one, that is right in the right place. The first one always gets stuck because it's got soil and it's got the grass roots in it as well. So just bring this a bit closer, don't want to make your life easier. So as you can see, this post digger is going in not too bad at all. So what I'll do is just get the first top layer a bit off, and then graft the shovel just around the sides, because this works it and makes it a bit looser, which makes it easy to get out with that. Because I think it's okay for digging, but this is slicing down a lot deeper than that will in one hit. Give it all a bit of a wiggle around. And now this simply done. Simple. Oh, and the other thing that is extraordinarily important when digging holes, fresh cup of tea over there. Hydration is everything, and hydration doesn't have to stop there. Tonight I'll have a couple of beers, because evening hydration is just as key and important to get you going for the next day. I'm only jesting. Be 3 beers, but anyway, So keep digging down. So once you kind of, again, remove that loose soil, have a go. And what this grafter shovel also does, that's about 150mm wide. And of course we want it to be about 200, so this is just a nice way of cutting it and making it a bit wider. And obviously sometimes you're going to hit roots, big stones, and they're just something you're going to have to sort of deal with and work around. Now ironically, the tool I've got in here, basically, I shall show you, because why not this one here. So I don't know what it's actually technically called, a friend gave it to me, but basically it's perfect for digging roots. So if you get a root in the way, you can sharpen this blade up, and then you can have a right old go at it, and you'll get it cut. And either that, or you can get like saws in the holes, sometimes like a multi-tool. I've used that loads of times to cut like roots, which I'm probably going to have over there because there's an apple tree I chopped down, and they've got a massive tree over that side. So they're not all going to come out like this one. This is just one of those glorious ones for video apparently. Yes, I did avoid going in for one of those ones, at least for the video. So keep going until you get down to some nice clumpy stuff, because sometimes you'll hit clay and it's very, very obvious it's clay because it's obviously yellow and stuff like that. Sometimes you get a kind of like a blacker clay, which basically it's just where you start to get to the soil and it's all stuck together. It's like clay, ironically, and there is a slight colour difference as well, because you're starting to get to that point where it will become proper yellow clay. And I can already see a slight colour difference now. So what I'm going to do is get this last bit out of here, and I'll give it a little measurement to see what depth I'm at. Oh, yep. Yeah, so I can see I'm hitting clay now. So width, absolutely spot on 200. Depth 500. So let me show you what you should end up with. Okay. So this is my original L, which you can see beautifully. So nice and circular, which is happy days. This one, a bit more shady, so that you can see down the bottom there. See the yellow? So that's me on clay now. So that is basically that hole dug. And then what we'll obviously end up doing is having one of these bad boys, which will go through the centre of said hole, like that, and that's perfect. That is going to be the support. And I'll also show you how to settle that lot up when I get round to it. But in the meantime, time for that cup of tea, and to dig a fair few more holes, but hopefully that helps a few people out. Happy days. Righto, and that's it done for the day. So not bad at all actually. So obviously all pegged out, lovely, lovely, and many holes dug. So there's 20 holes, I've got 14 done, as you can see, looking marvellous. Well, looking as marvellous as a whole can, I suppose. Two top tips for you when you're doing this, which I forgot to mention earlier. One, measure the head of your spade, right? Because then when you're digging your holes, you've got a guide. So this one is exactly 400mm deep. So I know when I get up to the hilt of this thing, I'm 400mm in the ground. I need to go like 100mm on top of that. I know I'm roughly where I need to be then. So it saves keep like stopping and getting a tape measure out and trying to mess around. The other thing is that when you've got your fence post and you're like digging it out and you're removing soil, on the end of your wheelbarrow, it's obviously lower at the back, okay? So make sure the back is facing you so you haven't got to lift it as high to then drop it in, because otherwise if you put it the other way, it's taller at the front, you've got to lift it up even higher to do it. And actually after the extra exercise for your shoulders and your traps in, you crack on. But anyway, that's it, done for the day. So I'll be back on this one on Monday, shooting a wedding tomorrow, so that should be nice. Hopefully the weather's going to be as good as it is today, because it's been glorious. So that's it. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it. Get this content out there. People need to see this stuff. Everyone needs a garden room. But otherwise, have a great one. Bye.